Just like this one that you could see right over my shoulder, and that suspect did take the victim's keys. One man that I spoke with who lives in this area tells me he's worried now that his mail will be tampered with. Lindsay, it's actually right behind me. You can see it's totally busted up. There's wires sticking out everywhere. It looks like it's been completely broken in half. Now, also behind me, you can see that these boards are covering up the windows and the doors. A car actually drove right through them, and there were still glass shards all over the place. Everything is gone, including the dirt the building was once standing on. For those who live right here in the Penrose community, this now fresh ground, an empty space, is a welcome sight. Last week, after the Stout murder trial, a woman emailed me saying that she was on that panel. She told me she wanted to share her side of the story on camera, but she said she didn't want to use her name. I was here the night of the vigil, just less than 24 hours after the shooting. Hundreds of people came, and it was a profound moment of grief. Tonight, there is a sense of justice, but for some, the loss will never go away. Adam, in just the last hour, I've counted more than 100 cars make their way right around this roundabout to drop off their ballots. And I am getting an update from El Paso County officials. They tell me now that they are expecting right around 200,000 ballots in total tonight. According to fire crews, these waters crested about 10.5 feet last night. Now, despite these waters slowly starting to retreat, rushing water can still be a danger during thunderstorm season. That carries up to 12 years in prison. The other charges that the Halfords are facing is not as much. Now, the victims that we spoke with here today say they just want justice. Senator Chris Hansen tells me that this new law is intended to cut down on crime and get guns out of the wrong hands. However, the Rocky Mountain Gun Owners Group believes that this law will not prevent criminals from getting weapons. Tonight, the bomb squad tells me there is no longer a threat and that the mall is safe. Luckily, no one was injured today, but many people experienced some pretty scary moments, some just feet away from the car, both inside and outside of the mall. You can see that there are no cars traveling behind me. However, there are some cars traveling northbound. That's because they are getting off the interstate near that crash onto the Academy exit and then getting back on I-25. And as you can see, it appears that that crash is south of the Academy Bridge. I'm going to go ahead and step off camera right now so you can see a little bit more of the scene. It actually started to burn some of that burn scar area. And for some people, seeing that smoke plume earlier this afternoon may have brought back some difficult memories.
Very emotional. I don't really feel any closure yet, and I'm not sure I will until we know for sure what happened to him.
Carrie is still waiting to learn if her dad is among the 189 bodies found within these walls. He passed away 4 years ago.
He was a big Steelers fan.
Each room that's torn down brings up memories of what happened inside, even before investigators say they made that shocking discovery in October.
We had her service here, and last time I saw her body was here.
Angelica's daughter, Chanel, died in November of 2019. Angelica now has ashes, or something that resembles ashes, that she worries may not belong to her daughter.
I don't know whether I want them to find her as one of these bodies or not. But on the other hand, I know I have ashes, so I would like to know where my daughter's remains are.
Every crash of wood may not be closure for some, but it's a step forward.
It's a positive step in the right direction of knowing that this building of horror is finally gone.
I was a little bit worried on how we're going to deal with the infrastructure of our county. We haven't had this type of snow effect in many, many years.
Teller County is no stranger to excessive snowfall, but last week's storm put a strain on county resources.
You have a medical emergency, you call 911. Our snow plows were trying to punch into that location, but 4 foot of snow and 8 foot drifts, it can be daunting at times.
Rob Vladimiroff with the county search and rescue team worked day and night to help those stranded. He says they are still working to clear out roadways and driveways in some rural neighborhoods. These pictures show the team working to help rescue a plow driver stuck in an avalanche over the weekend.
Our ambulance drivers, our sheriff's deputies, fire departments got way more calls than we did. We just assisted them when they couldn't get to where they were going.
While there's still more work to be done, Teller County commissioners say they are looking toward the future and say preparation is key.
You live at 9,000 feet, a lot of places at 10,000 feet. You got to be prepared for this and have inventory. You got to have a pantry full of food. I can live a month off of my pantry if I need to.
Vacationers that are here that are really undocumented, that are just in someone's home, but may not be prepared for 4 days and 3 days of outage.
It's unfortunate. I feel bad for the person, but, I hope that it gets resolved, and the community stays safe, that. I'll definitely keep on the lookout for sure for the person.
Jorge Luna's front door is just yards away from where a mail carrier was robbed at gunpoint over the weekend.
Never thought it would happen. It's crazy. It's so mind-blowing that it would happen here.
The United States Postal Inspection Service released these photos of the man they say is the suspect. He appears to be in his late teens and early 20s, wearing a mask. And sadly, what happened here is not an anomaly.
Since 2019, we've had over 2,000 city letter carriers that have been robbed and or assaulted across the country. And we have seen a rise, not just across the country, but also here in the Denver metro area and Colorado Springs. We've seen an over 300% increase in assaults and robberies on letter carriers.
Byrne with the State's Association of Letter Carriers tells me that since the pandemic led people to buy more online, mail carriers became more of a target.
We're out there on the front lines. The letter carriers are out there every day.
Byrne tells me he is now working with state lawmakers to pass legislation to crack down on this type of crime. While investigators have not yet released why they believe this mail carrier was targeted, Jorge says he feels more at risk.
Not only just mine, but for the communities too. Isn't it tax season? People are going to get their stuff taken. It's really important. I hope that stuff gets resolved soon.
Colorado Springs police are investigating this, but there is a $150,000 reward from the U.S. Postal Inspection Service for information leading to that arrest and conviction of the suspect. That number is on your screen right now. And for a more detailed description of that suspect, you can head over to our website, kktv.com.